Exit Zero, New Jersey's famous vacation spot, Cape May, which was founded in 1685, is known for its history and its ghosts. From its World War II watchtower to its beautiful beaches and shops, there is something for everyone in Cape May. I'm going to take you to 2 abandoned places and a few haunted places. All of these destinations are really cool, but we saved the creepiest for last. It's a personal ghost story from my friend John, and we revisit the spot where it all took place just a few years ago. Interestingly, the beaches themselves, as well as the lighthouse, are believed to be haunted. The lighthouse has a few ghost stories around it. It's believed to be haunted by spirits who circle the light itself, which was first lit on Halloween of 1859. Now, here is Battery 223, a massive, concrete, abandoned World War II bunker on Cape May Point, not too far from Cape May's historic lighthouse. To quote Atlas Obscura, the concrete building, complete with walls that measure 7 feet thick, was constructed on top of thick wooden pilings that have yet to give out, even if the rest of the structure is in less than ideal shape. It is assumed that the bunker once held munitions. When it was built in 1942, the bunker was more than 900 feet or so from the ocean, on high ground. It was covered in sod so as to blend in with the surroundings, which explains why it's not so pretty today with the sides exposed. The tide has since changed though, and it's impossible to walk under the structure as you once could. The water is always washing up underneath the bunker, which over the years appears to be moving out to sea. Of course, this abandoned structure comes with a bit of haunted history as well. Back when people were able to go inside, there were reports of spectral encounters, apparitions of sailors as if still on guard, conversations the living heard but couldn't quite understand, and more. Now it's our turn to explore.
That it does.
I need to understand what that means.
Olivia plus barf. Do you know how many spiders probably are living over
So
there?
many, and I saw all of them.
Wait, really? Is there a lot of spiders?
Yes.
I heard that
How
too.
dare you?
I don't see any spiders.
Well, I'm sure if you look hard enough, they're there.
They were like jumping down, and they might have like been spooked by my running towards it.
Okay. Well, I'm back in the way.
Wow, you look so heroic.
It says keep off, so obviously I
Oh,
decided not to.
look at you, rebel here. I got you guys in the lighthouse behind.
Oh my god. Yes!
Next up is this abandoned shipwreck from World War I. It is the concrete ship, the SS Atlantis, built in 1918, and it can be found on Sunset Beach. For now, until it sinks completely. Here's what it used to look like up until 1961, when it split into 2 parts. To quote Weird New Jersey, the notion of the concrete ship must have seemed to have some validity towards the end of World War I. Shortages of steel made it necessary to find low-cost alternative materials for ships that could serve as a troop and supply transports. Eventually, steel was once again readily available, and the more efficient steel ships were back in production. The concrete fleet was decommissioned, and the SS Atlantis was sent to a ship graveyard in Virginia. Then, in 1926, Colonel Desi Rosenfeld of Baltimore decided to use the Atlantis as a ferry service. Cape May was set to be used as a ferry landing. Unfortunately, the Atlantis broke loose of her offshore moorings during a storm and ran aground, where she rests today. Although several attempts were made to free her, all proved unsuccessful. In 1937, a seam ripped open in the giant ship's stony hull, and in 1961, she split into 2 parts. At that time, her stern disappeared beneath the water's surface forever. Also on Sunset Beach are 2 pairs of historic train tracks from the early 1900s that only appear during low tide. We tried to find them, but we had no luck this time. Now for some purely haunted places. Cape May is filled with Victorian houses and haunted buildings and inns. It seems that almost every inn is haunted. One of the more active of those being Hotel Macumber, the last historic landmark building constructed in Cape May, and where we stayed during our trip. We booked the room before knowing anything about it being haunted. On top of that, our room was directly next to the most haunted room in the hotel, Room 10. Many believe that the spirit of a former frequent hotel guest haunts the room, possibly unaware that she is dead. Some activity reported is drawers opening and closing on their own in the middle of the night, lights turning on and off seemingly on their own, and the bathroom doorknob turning when no one else is there. There are multiple hauntings besides this one. Another phantom is believed to haunt the kitchen, a 1930s-era waitress who died tragically on the job. Activity has also been reported in the basement and in various other places in the hotel. Some believe there are even more spirits here. My good friend had a terrifying, personal experience with the next place we are going to, and he's going to tell you all about it. Now New Jersey's only Victorian House museum owned by the Mid-Atlantic Center for the Arts, this is the Emlyn Physic Estate, completed in 1879 and known to locals as Cape May's original haunted house. Emlyn Physic Jr., his mother, and his aunts lived here as soon as it was built. Emlyn had just completed his medical degree at age 21, but decided not to pursue that career path. He was the grandson of Dr. Philip Singh Physic, a wealthy man who is considered to be the father of American surgery. There's a rumor that the spirits of Emlyn, his mother, and his aunts still reside in the house. Some believe there are even more spirits like servants and dogs. This came to fruition through investigations by mediums. To quote author Lynda Macken, the hauntings date back to the mid-1940s when the residents were afraid to live in the house because of its ghostly inhabitants. The family heard footsteps and noises every night and eventually gave up searching for the cause because it proved futile. The estate may not look stereotypically haunted, but that's because it's well kept by the Center of the Arts. Please keep in mind that the doors to the museum close and all the lights are turned off after a certain hour. This comes into play during my friend's story, but I'll let him tell it to you.
Well, I'm an actor, and I was performing here at the end of my college career. We were performing Shakespeare, essentially in the parks, but just like in this particular area, here at the Emlyn Physic Estate. But being here and literally looking up into one of those windows and seeing a figure in the house move through. And I wasn't the only person, a couple of the other actors also saw it. And then when we asked the people that were working here, we were told that the house was locked and that in fact no one was there at the time of our performance, so could have been a ghost.
Very historical
Ghost
house.
Store house.
Alright, John said it's one of these top windows. Alright, so I want to film those top windows.
performing and I was on.
Could have been looking at one of these.
They just look like a shadow of a person.
Wow.
Up there. Here's the stage.
Oh.
That is so creepy that you saw that. I love it. Alright, these are the colors of the house. Still looking kind of weird on this camera, but...
There is a lot more to explore in Cape May, whether it be abandoned, haunted, historical, or just plain fun. Please like this video if you want me to return and explore some more places. Also, stick around to the end for some funny bloopers of me and my friends. Thanks for watching, everyone. My sources are listed in the description below. Please subscribe for more videos like this one.
Hands on your knees, hands on your knees. Wait, okay, there we go. With a nice shipwreck in the background.
Here at the Emlyn Physic Estate, and during one of my performances, I remember being up. Oh,
a bug went in my nostril.
but being here. I'm lost. Rigotta.
Ooh, that sounded beautiful and that echo.
I know. I'm very resonant. According to Yancey, I'm the loudest person he knows.
You're probably you're the loudest person I know too.
Well, I'm the quietest person I know. So. I'm crying. I can't breathe. This hurts in my eye.
Okay, John and Adrian, are you ready to try number one?
Wait, we gotta cheers.
Oh yeah, cheers.
Chin chin.
Ooh.
Ching. Oh, ching ching.
Yeah, I'm looking real fancy, right? Well, actually.
Some letters to be carried home by you, sailing down along the coast of High Barbary. For broadside, they fought all on the main. Blow high, blow low, and so sailed we, until at last the frigate shot the pirates' master we, sailing down along the coast